Hey guys, how's it going? Baddington here, and welcome to a tutorial that has actually been well requested by many of you for me to do. Now, this tutorial is going to be about building your very own animatronic based on your own concept designs in Blender 2.8. So if you are not used to 2.8, I recommend you do go watch videos on how to use 2.8 because I'll be discussing a lot of mechanics and techniques that go into using 2.8 that you will need. So without further ado, this video will be one of a few tutorials. This one will go over designing your character on paper and transferring the design into Blender so you can use them as reference and then build upon your animatronic through Blender using those references. And this will only cover how to make the endoskeletons, so I won't be going over how to cover costume designs for this one, but you'll see more of that in the upcoming videos that I do. So I do hope this is helpful for you, and I do hope that you enjoy. First things first, I'm going to start off by making my reference. So you can see me using a black pen, which didn't really show through in the camera. So what I'm writing down is basically the name of my character that I'm doing, and this is a design that I've made in the past. So you may have your own designs and you may have your own details that you would want to include or learn how to do, but for now this is just how I do it, so hopefully you can pick up a few things. And honestly, as far as drawings goes, this is probably on DeviantArt level of drawing. But right now what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and I am building upon my animatronic that is going to go inside the costumes. And I want to make sure I get the size of the endoskeleton just right, so that way it will fit inside the costume later on. Now if it doesn't fit 100%, I can always tweak the costume. But I do want to have some good references in how I want the size to be. Alright, now that I got my mock-up drawing all finished, I'm going to take a picture of it, then I'm going to send it into Blender, and then we can get working on our model. So, I'll see you guys there. Alright, now that we're in Blender, we're going to go ahead and press A to select everything, and press X to delete everything, since we aren't going to need any of those objects. So, you're going to come up here into this right here so that you can select cycles, since I like to use cycles, and that's pretty much what we're going to be using for the course of this video. I'm going to add simplify. I'm going to turn down the max bounces to 8 since that helps with rendering and it saves time when rendering. Now I'm just going to press shift A and go into mesh and add in a cube. So now what we want to do is we're just going to press shift A and go down to background images. I'm just scrolling through to pick the image I took a picture of, so that way we can use it as our reference for the backdrop and to the side. Alright, so you might find that your image is a bit rotated, but that's okay, because since this is an object, you can just go ahead and press R and rotate it 90 degrees, and then we can scale it up however you want. Right now I'm just going to try to get the scale that I'm going for. Alright, after finishing up most of the model, I do have to go ahead and translate all the models that are on the left side and put them onto the right. But before I do that, I am going to have to put all the textures on before I can flip them. So this is actually probably going to be a video for how to do the endoskeleton texture as well. I was going to make a separate video for the textures alone, and I still might. But for now, this is basically showing you guys a time lapse of me doing the glossy sort of metal rustic look with the little smudges for the metal that I'm going for. And this isn't that hard to do, and if you didn't come for models and you wanted to do for textures, then this isn't as helpful, but you can get an idea on how to do your textures this way as well, so I hope this is helpful. So here I am just making the textures for the eyes, since normally I would try to mimic the same style as Five Nights at Freddy's, but this time I'm just not gonna bother with it because I don't know what Scott Cawthon did to make the textures of the eyes. What I do is just get it diffused and then get a mixed texture and add in a gloss, and that's pretty much all I need to do. If you want to add a layer weight, that makes it look even more like a FNAF style, but I did it for this tutorial. I normally just put a gloss since that's what an eye looks like to me. And I also put the iris. It's the same texture technique as the rest of the eye. All you need to do is just copy and paste the texture and then use it with the iris image. You put an image texture, connect it up, add your image of an eye that you want, put it dead in the center, and then you'll have to put it through edit mode, select the faces you want, assign the texture to those faces, and then you're gonna have to do some unwrapping. I just realized that I wasn't exactly done with the endoskeleton model. I needed to model the hand, so this is just gonna be a quick little clip of me modeling the hand. This is actually one of my better hands that I've modeled because I don't normally take a whole lot of time with endoskeleton hands, since they are just blocks to look like low poly hands. I know more people would want to go into detail with those, and they are some of the hardest things to make. Sculpting hands and drawing hands, they're hard to do. But with a robot hand, I don't think it's as difficult. This one I like the most out of most of my hands that I've modeled because these are actually very simplistic, but they also come across as very nice to look at. I like the simplicity, and I like the sweet aesthetic of it all. I got to only put 4 fingers as opposed to 5 because there wasn't much room, and besides, there's normally just 4 fingers on an animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's anyway, so this is just me making up my little mock-up of a FNAF 1 hand or something like that. And I hope this is helpful because this is pretty much summarizing what you can do as well on Blender. Alright guys, this is pretty much me just finishing off some lighting. I normally like to use spotlight and raise them up really bright. Have some little reds in the left and have some blues on the right. And have one big white spotlight on top. That's pretty much it for doing an endoskeleton. Adding all the material and making all the little nooks and crannies is what pulls it all together. Now, this is pretty much how I would go about doing this. Obviously this is a simplified model for a tutorial, but this can work for you. If you have a design that's way more complex than I have, then you can go about making your endoskeleton very detailed. But that's pretty much it for making an endoskeleton. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned something from it. I hope this will, you know, help you make your models and characters, whatever you may use them for. But I know this one was a very requested tutorial for me to do. Yeah, I just hope that you guys did learn something from this, or at least enjoyed watching me do this. So if you aren't already subscribed, then I suggest you do so already and hit the notification bell to get notified of future videos such as this one. I do more videos than just tutorials. I do comedy skits, I do gaming, I do animations, I do it all. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I will definitely be making more of these in the future. I'll see you guys next time.